Shalom, my brothers and sisters in Yahuwah, our Elohim, and welcome to our midweek Bible study. How's everybody doing? Cruising through the week? Yeah, we're halfway. Fourth day. Alright, gang. Tonight we're going to be finishing up Melakim Aleph. Okay? We only have one chapter left, so it's not going to be a long study tonight. We're going to go ahead and finish her up. But it's an important study, okay? This is not going to just be a whip it out and we're done with it. No, this is an important study. So go ahead and grab your Bibles and get comfy and get something to drink, and we'll get started this evening. We're going to see some crazy things happen tonight. Get a drink of water and we'll get started. Alright. Comfy? Alright. We'll get started tonight. Here we go. Melakim Aleph, chapter 22. And they continued 3 years without fighting between Aram and Yasharel. And it came to be in the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Yehuda, came down to the sovereign of Yasharel. So he come down to speak to Ahab. Jehoshaphat come over to speak to Ahab. Verse 3, and the sovereign of Yasharel said to his servants, do you know that Ramoth in Gilead is ours, and we are keeping silent from taking it out of the hand of the sovereign of Aram? And he said to Jehoshaphat, do you go with me to battle at Ramoth Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said to the sovereign of Yasharel, I am as you are, my people as your people, my horses as your horses. And Jehoshaphat said to the sovereign of Yasharel, please, first inquire for the word of Yahuwah. Yeah, he's speaking to Ahab, who's totally pagan. Hey, don't you think we ought to speak to Yahuwah first? Yeah, okay. Verse 6. And the sovereign of Yasharel gathered the prophets, about 400 men. Oh boy, you can just imagine what his prophets were like. And said to them, do I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or do I refrain? And they said, go up, for Yahuwah does give it into the hand of the sovereign. Yeah, here's some advice for you. Anybody can go ahead and sign up to be a priest. Imagine what his prophets are. Verse 7, we already saw the ones that got slaughtered. And Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of Yahuwah besides, that we might inquire of him? Hey, you got anybody else except for these jokers that you brought in here to prophecy to us? Verse 8, and the sovereign of Yasharel said to Jehoshaphat, there is still one man, Mikiyahu, son of Yimlah, to inquire of Yahuwah by him, but I hate him, because he does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, let not the sovereign say so. Really? Yeah, don't say that. Let's call him in. Verse 9, so the sovereign of Yasharel called an officer and said, bring Mikiyahu, son of Yimlah, at once. And the sovereign of Yasharel and Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Yehuda, were sitting, each one his throne, dressed in their robes, at a threshing floor at the entrance of the gate of Shemaron. And all the prophets were prophesying before them. They're dancing around and prophesying around the kings. And Tizkadah, son of Kenanah, had made horns of iron for himself, and said, thus says Yahuwah, with these you push the Arameans until they are destroyed. So he made himself some horns, and he's dancing around going, ah, with these horns. Oh, verse 12. And all the prophets were prophesying, saying, prophesying so, saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead, and prosper, for Yahuwah shall give it into the hands of the sovereign. And the messenger who had gone to call Micaiah spoke to him, saying, See now, the words of the prophets with one mouth are good toward the sovereign. Please, let your word be like the word of one of them, and you shall speak good. Just go along with the program. Don't say anything against what all the prophets are saying. Just go along with the program, and it'll be all good. Verse 14, and Micaiah said, As Yahweh lives, whatever Yahweh says to me, that I speak. And he came to the sovereign, and the sovereign said to him, Micaiah, do we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or do we refrain? And he answered him, Go and prosper, for Yahweh shall give it into the hands of the sovereign. And the sovereign said to him, How many times have I made you swear that you do not speak to me except the truth in the name of Yahuwah? So he's calling him out saying, You're lying and I don't believe you. How many times have I told you to speak the truth to me? Verse 17. So he said, Micaiah, I saw all Yasharel scattered on the mountains as sheep that have no shepherd. And Yahuwah said, These have no master. Let everyone return to his house in peace. So Micaiah spelled it out to him. This is what Yahuwah told me. Verse 18. And the sovereign of Yasharel said to Jehoshaphat, Have I not said to you that he would not prophesy good concerning me, but evil? Because Ahab is evil. 19. Then he said, Therefore hear the word of Yahuwah. I saw Yahuwah sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him, on his right hand and on his left. This is Micaiah speaking. Verse 20, And Yahuwah said, Who shall entice Ahab to go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? So Yahuwah is asking all the angels, who's going to go and entice him to go up there so I can knock him off? And this one says this, and another said that. And a spirit came forward and stood before Yahuwah and said, Let me entice him. And Yahuwah said to him, In what way? And he said, I shall go out and be a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of all his prophets. And he, Yahuwah, said, Entice him. Also, prevail. Go out and do so. So Yahuwah sent him on a mission. Put false prophecy in all of his prophets' mouths. So they're all dancing around saying, Yeah, go up, go up, go up. Verse 23. And now, see, Yahuwah has put a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of all these prophets of yours, and Yahuwah has spoken evil concerning you. And Tizdikyahu, boy, that's a hard one to say, Tizdikyahu, son of Kenah, came near and struck Micaiah on the cheek and said, Where did the spirit of Yahuwah pass over from me to speak to you? How come he went over me and spoke to you? And Micaiah said, Look, you shall see on that day when you go into an inner room to hide. I need to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Verse 26. And the sovereign of Yasharel said, Take Micaiah and return him to Ammon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, son of the sovereign. I gotta sneeze again, darn it. Oh, man. These fires out here are horrible. Whew, they trash your sinuses, the smoke. Let's see if we can get through the rest of this. Alright, let's just go back here for a minute. Let's see here. So Ahab has sent back Micaiah to Armon, to the governor of the city, and to Joash, son of the sovereign. Okay? Verse 27. They're going to put him in prison. And say, Thus said the sovereign, put this one in prison and feed him with bread of affliction and water of affliction until I come in peace. So Ahab's saying, starve him until I get back. This is where turn the other cheek comes in. Okay? Because if we remember right, Tizdakiu, the son of Kenanah, came near and struck Micaiah on the cheek. Okay? So now, Micaiah is going to turn the other cheek. Alright? Check this out. Verse 28. And Micaiah said, If you ever return in peace, Yahuwah has not spoken by me. And he said, Hear, all you people. So even though this Tizdakiu smacked him upside his face, he turned the other cheek and he still spoke the truth again. Okay? He didn't snivel and, oh, okay, I'll just be quiet and I'll go on my way. No, that's not what turn the other cheek means. Turn the other cheek means stand for what's true. Give him this cheek. If he smacks you on this cheek, then speak the truth again with this cheek facing him. Don't be a sniveling wimp and go, oh yeah, okay, well, I guess that you guys are right. No, don't do that. Turn the other cheek and give him the truth again. Verse 29. And the sovereign of Yasharel and Jehoshaphat, the sovereign of Yehuda, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the sovereign of Yasharel said to Jehoshaphat, Let me disguise myself to go into battle. But you put on your robes. So the sovereign of Yasharel disguised himself and went into battle. I'm going to go in and disguised, but you go ahead and wear your robes, and maybe they'll key on you and kill you instead of me. Nice guy, huh? Ahab was a coward. Verse 31, And the sovereign of Aram had commanded the 32 commanders of his chariots, saying, Fight with no one, small or great, but only with the sovereign of Yasharel. So they were keying on Ahab. Verse 32, And it came to be, when the commanders of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, Indeed, it is the sovereign of Yasharel. So they turned aside to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat cried out. And it came to be, when the commanders of the chariots saw that it was not the sovereign of Yasharel, that they turned back from pursuing him. And a man drew a bow in his simplicity, and struck the sovereign of Yasharel between the joints of his armor. And he said to the driver of his chariot, Turn around, and take me out of the battle, for I am wounded. So this guy had a bow on him, and he just saw Ahab and took a shot at him with the bow, just simplicity, just took a shot at him and struck him between the shoulder blades. And Ahab's like, ugh, get me out of here. Verse 35, And the battle increased that day, and the sovereign was propped up in his chariot, facing the Arameans, and died at evening, and the blood ran out from the wound onto the floor of his chariot. Remember the curse that Yahuwah put on him. Verse 36, And as the sun was going down, a shout passed through the camp, saying, Each to his city, each to his land. Remember? Yeah, Micaiah said everybody go to their own town. Just go home. Go to their own tent. Coming true, huh? Verse 37, So the sovereign died and was brought to Shimron, and they buried the sovereign in Shimron. And when the chariot was washed at a pool in Shimron, the dogs licked up his blood where the whores bathed, according to the word of Yahuwah, which he had spoken. This had all been spoken in prophecy. Yahuwah spoke this in prophecy. Verse 39. And the rest of the acts of Ahab, and all that he did, and the ivory house which he built, and all the cities that he built, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yasharel? So Ahab slept with his fathers, and Ahaziah, his son, reigned in his place. And Jehoshaphat, son of Asa, began to reign over Yehudah in the 4th year of Ahab, sovereign of Yasharel. Jehoshaphat was 35 years old when he became sovereign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Azubah, and the daughter of Shilhi. Verse 43. And he walked in all the ways of his father Asa. He did not turn aside from them, doing what was right in the eyes of Yahuwah. Only the high places were not taken away, for the people slaughtered and burned incense on the high places. So he held a lot of clout, but he didn't hold enough clout to get rid of all the high places where the pagans were all slaughtering to their small g gods and their idols. Verse 44. And Jehoshaphat made peace with the sovereign of Yasharel. So now they have made peace. The division is closed up for now. Verse 45. And the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, and the might that he showed, and how he fought, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yehudah? And the rest of the cult prostitutes, who remained in the days of his father Asa, he cleared out of the land. And there was then no sovereign in Edom. A deputy was sovereign, so there was no king in Edom at that time. Jehoshaphat made Tarshish ships to go to Ophir for gold. However, they did not go, for the ships were wrecked at Etzon Geber. Then Ahaziah, son of Ahab, said to Jehoshaphat, Let my servants go with your servants in the ships. But Jehoshaphat would not. So Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father. And Jehoram, his son, reigned in his place. And Ahaziah, son of Ahab, began to reign over Yasharel and Shimron in the 17th year of Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Yehudah, and reigned 2 years over Yasharel, and did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, and walked in the ways of his father, and in the ways of his mother, and in the way of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had made Yasharel sin, and served Baal, and bowed himself to it, and provoked Yahuwah, Elohim of Yasharel, according to all that his father had done. So he was just as big of a scumbag as Ahab, and took after mommy Jezebel, and he was a real sweet guy. And that is the end of Melakim Aleph, 1 Kings. Short study tonight, gang. Sorry I didn't count the chapters, and I should have. But on Shabbat, we'll be starting a new book. We'll be starting Melakim Bet, 2 Kings. Okay? And the journey continues. Alright. Like I said, there was a lot there just for one chapter. We went through quite a bit. But it was good. It was good. There was a lot of information in there. And you could see how the two parts of the children of Yasharel, the northern tribes and the southern tribes, were reunited by Jehoshaphat. So for the time being, they're reunited. That's a good thing. Alright, gang. That's all I got for tonight. I hope y'all gained wisdom and knowledge from our Father Yahuwah, and all that you're seeking to draw closer to Him through His Word. Teach your children. Teach your children, read to them, and show them. Help them to understand the way. Okay? Alright, gang. Bless each and every one of you. Baruch you all in the name of Yahuwah, our Elohim. And we'll see you on Shabbat. Y'all take care, alright? Have a good rest of your week. Shalom.